Today, I want to talk about an inconvenient truth. And no, not the movie at all. I mean, this is not a video channel about environmentalism or even movies. Well, I guess it kind of is about movies. All right, I'm totally getting off track. We're not talking about the movie, and we're not even talking about Man, Bear, Pig, or anything that Al Gore is talking about. We're talking about the inconvenient truth of action figure collecting and being an adult who buys action figures. Now, you go to retail and you see these toys hanging in the retail aisle right next to, kid product. And we see this as, well, that's great. Yeah, there's product for kids, but Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, Motu Origins, Transformers, G.I. Joe Classified, that's all for us. And, it just happens to share space with the kid product. I've spoken a lot, and this is where we're going to get into our drinking game, right? That 80% of all sales at retail are to kids, no matter what it is. Even, well, except the stuff that's sold on that aisle behind the electronics section, that's completely collector. But the main toy aisle is 80% to kids. And judging from the comments section on this channel, a lot of people just flat out don't believe me. And the idea that a child is going to play with a Marvel Legends figure is ludicrous, So what I want to do is basically just present some facts and let people decide for themselves about, whether or not this proves true. Now, factually, I have worked for quite a few toy companies over the last 25 years, and I've learned a lot about how toys are sold to market, how they're produced, and I am also a collector, and that definitely makes me a bit of an anomaly because being a collector and being exposed to, sales data and, information about how people buy toys was very surprising to me at first because it's not the way I saw the market as a collector. But over time, I came to realize from looking at sales reports that, well, we are a very small amount of the total toy buying population. And the truth of it is, we're honestly very lucky to be getting what we are at all because the money is not there. So the way we're going to look at this and kind of the proof is to look at case packs. So a case pack is designed to sell the most amount of toys. And sometimes figures have to be doubled up in a case pack. And the figures that are doubled up are always the ones that you want sort of hanging around the peg the longest. After someone buys the rest of the figures, the figure that shipped to a case would be the figure that should sort of peg warm. So when you have a wave like this, you would designed for collectors, you would think Kang or Thunderstrike or Falcon or even Jocasta, being a brand new figure never done before, would be the figures packed 2 per case in order to ensure collectors can find them, right? Because this is a toy line designed for collectors. But lo and behold, look at what the case pack looks like. The figures that are doubled up are Iron Man and Captain America. So the most recognizable characters to the public at large are the ones that are in there twice. Interesting. All right, maybe that's an anomaly. Let's look at another wave of Marvel Legends. So this Spider-Man wave, again, collector-centric. You would think Old Man Vulture or Kung Fu Guy or Playboy Bunny Girl. And no, I know their real names. I'm just, trying to be funny here. You would think that any of them would be a great candidate for a double case pack, right? Especially because he's going to have a movie coming out and Vulture, is a very, well-known Spider-Man villain, or even, White Rabbit. It's their first time as a toy. But again, lo and behold, look at who's doubled up in the case. The figure that's meant to stick around are the Spider-Man figures. Okay, and you're saying, well, these were both video game waves, and that video game is hot and it's current. So let's look at something that's not attached to a video game. So this Deadpool wave, again, aimed at collectors, right? So you would expect Girl with Shark or Native American tough guy or even Deadpool dressed up as a pirate to be the #1 selling figure in this wave, so they should be doubled up. Or even Black Tom Cassidy, who's a long-time Marvel villain. Heck, even Sunspot would be a good choice to double up. Or Maverick. Well, lo and behold, the figure that's doubled up is standard Deadpool. I mean, yes, he's in his X-Men attire, not his red attire, but he's in his most recognizable form. Maybe not as a pirate, but, for the public at large, for kids. Well, what about a movie wave? All right, well, let's look at that. So here is the Black Widow product, and you would think, well, okay, this line is designed for collectors, and obviously the doubled up figure would be the star of the movie, Black Widow, or maybe even Winter Soldier, who, is probably the most A-list character in this wave as far as the Marvel Universe goes, in full. Well, again, lo and behold, looking at the wave and who is doubled up in this case pack, and it's not the comic book based figures, it's not even the main star of the movie, Natasha Romanoff. It is Taskmaster. He's the only one doubled up. And why is this? Well, because it's sold in the boys aisle. Boys are attracted to male figures because they identify the most, and he's a cool bad guy in a mask with a bow and arrow. This will appeal to kids. So not even the star of the movie because, it is a female lead, but boys, young boys, who are the main target of this line, are attracted to male action figure. So this is not the retail aisle saying go away to adult collectors, but it's more that accepting the fact that the aisle is designed for kids and parents buying gifts. So where can we turn? Well, that's why we have this great WWW thing out there. And I'm not talking about the World Wildlife Federation or something like that. So yes, we could keep eating up the reassuring lie, if you will, that the toy aisles are meant for collectors because we go there every single day. But even when you look at the lines that we're currently collecting, like Masters of the Universe Origins at retail, right? This is great. It appeals to kids, it appeals to collectors, but look at that character selection, right? I mean, that's right up collectors' dream come true with Scareglow and Trapjaw and Teela and Evelyn. Well, yes, I mean, hopefully these should appeal to collectors, and that's a secondary audience for these. But looking at the character selection, the deepest that Origins goes as far as retail are variants of two of the main and albeit most popular villains, doing Keldor and Kronos as Trapjaw and Skeletor's early forms. Being able to find sort of collector-only figures that are going to flesh out the world, characters like Seahawk, who is a reoccurring character on the Princess of Power show, or Karate, a background alien character from New Adventures. I mean, yes, I know he had a figure in the line, but he wasn't one of the main mutants. Or something like Fearless Photog, who is a collector figure paying off 30 years of waiting for this character to get made. These were all offered online through Matty Collector because Matty Collector doesn't have to go through the retail door. Something else like Hasbro Pulse, same thing. It's an avenue to bring figures and SKUs to collectors that flesh out the world that wouldn't otherwise work at retail, and it's absolutely 100% collector driven. Whether it's a pre-sale like a gigantic Sentinel, which again you'd be like, oh well, a Sentinel could sell at retail, but where are you going to skew it? Or something like a box set of a bunch of Victorian looking characters, two of which are in their underwear. Or characters that are army builders, like the Hydra soldiers or the Hellfire guards. These are characters that are sold online to expand and flesh out a full action figure collection. And online delivery and online sites like Matty Collector and Hasbro Pulse, they are what allow collector lines to thrive. You need the internet in order to sort of flesh out a full line. You'll get your basic line at retail, your main characters, even your Scareglows, but if you want those more obscure characters, your Fearless Photogs and your Hellfire Guards, well, so the internet is here for. Most of the people running toy lines are executives with fantastic degrees in marketing, and I respect so many of them. They're honestly, I've learned so much from having bosses like that. And there are people in the toy industry that are huge toy fans, that are active collectors. I'm not saying there aren't people in the industry that do know their way around an action figure, but most people who work in the toy industry, it's really just another industry. It's consumer products. They're just making a product to get it to retail, hit their margins, and hit their sales targets. So when we get product that's aimed at collectors, we should feel very, very grateful for that because it really is the exception to the rule. The sort of proof in the pudding about people working in the industry and whether or not they're collectors, we'll just look at cross-sell images. Look at this Vintage Series Luke figure. Would Luke ever hold his lightsaber like this? Or hold his second lightsaber like this, pointing towards his knee. This is not a pose a collector would ever put Luke in, but this was the pose that marketing for this figure approved to use as the sales image for this figure, because they are selling a product. Or look at this Marvel Legends Venom figure. I've used this image before. This figure comes with a slip-on kind of neck piece to show the goo of the symbiote. But it's not meant for the Venom head. It's meant for the Eddie Brock head. When the symbiote kind of unleashes like this, it's because it's revealing Eddie's head, which this figure comes with, an alternate Eddie head. Putting this piece on the figure with the Venom head, again, as the approved marketing image, shows that when making this product, it was designed to sell a toy, sell a product, sell a consumer good, not necessarily, speak to the adult collector. We may love these lines and see them as adult collector lines, but looking at the data, the inconvenient truth of adult collecting is that we are a very small amount of the toy buying consumer base, and toys at retail are absolutely aimed at kids. That's why we need the internet and we need online offerings to help fill out collector-only product. So support your local online-only product. It's the way to keep it going. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful. Please feel free to share it with others. It's the way to support this channel and tell YouTube to share it with more people too. And that's what it's all about, sharing fun toy knowledge. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.